and he is still the unified super bantamweight.
After a great victory, Naoya Inoue spoke with the class moments later. He said, "I want to send my appreciation to Junto Nakatani for fighting me tonight. I just wanted to show you guys that I wanted to be the winner." Inoue also made it clear how much the win meant to him. "This victory is very valuable for me because Junto is also a pound-for-pound ranked athlete. This is a valuable and important win to me." After an agonizing decision that handed Junto Nakatani his first career loss, he left the arena without speaking to the media. The weight of the defeat was visible as the once unbeaten champion walked out in silence, refusing to address the crowd or the cameras. Plemons broke it down simply. Nakatani was waiting for a counter left hand to land after Inoue threw his right. But outside of that, he hesitated. Meanwhile, Inoue kept closing the distance and working the body, stacking up rounds. Wade said Nakatani had to pick up the pace, but by the time he tried, the fight was already out of reach. Before the main event, the crowd was already at full capacity. The Tokyo Dome buzzed with energy as fans packed in to watch Inoue and Nakatani settle their rivalry. When the fight ended, Naoya Inoue raised his hand in victory, while Junto Nakatani walked out of the arena in silence after suffering his first career loss. Before the opening bell, Terence Crawford was spotted backstage linking up with both Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani ahead of their super fight. The future Hall of Famer showed respect to both fighters, soaking in the atmosphere before the two Japanese stars settled their business in the ring. Terence Crawford took a moment to show love to the fans at the Tokyo Dome. The former pound-for-pound king soaked in the atmosphere and showed respect to the Japanese crowd ahead of the super fight between Inoue and Nakatani.
Yeah, obviously I'm gonna win the fight, and I'm just gonna tell everyone who's gonna be watching the fight that my stories, from all my career's fight, then will show everyone that I'm gonna win this fight.
Thank you so much and best of luck tomorrow. Yeah.
Junto Nakatani delivered his final thoughts just before stepping in the ring with Naoya Inoue. He made a simple promise: "I will win and then tell everyone my story." That was his mindset heading into the biggest fight of his career. The loss may have changed the ending, but the confidence before the first bell was undeniable. Tom Gray called it a fight of two halves. The early rounds were very cautious, especially from Junto Nakatani, who was patient to a fault. Both fighters spent a lot of time feeling each other out without much punching. Then the fight ignited around the midway point. Inoue turned up the pressure in rounds 6, 7, and 8, and had Nakatani in serious trouble by the 10th. After an accidental head clash, Inoue dominated the 11th with a huge round.
Early hours in Tokyo after Naoya Inoue defeats Junto Nakatani over 12 rounds. Look, you was there at the Tokyo Dome. Very jealous, I must say. But yeah, just talk to me, I guess, what's the thoughts and feelings after the 12 rounds there?
Well, it was a fight of two halves, wasn't it? The first half, very, very cautious, particularly on the part of Junto Nakatani, who was patient, but perhaps overly patient, as Inoue, like, both of them were doing a lot of reconnaissance. There wasn't a lot of punching in the early rounds. But then when the fight ignited at the midway point, 6, 7, and then obviously Inoue really under the cosh, 8, 9, 10, in trouble, I thought, in the 10th round before the head clash. And then 11 was a huge round for Inoue, and yeah, I mean, it ended up being what we wanted, definitely in the second half. Some of the quality the quality of some of the action was off the charts. It was brilliant to watch.
Before the fight even started, the promotional clips highlighted everything Nakatani and Inoue brought to the table. Teddy Atlas, however, saw something different. He viewed Nakatani as a real threat capable of shaking up the entire division. Atlas warned that this was not a fight to take lightly or rush into. He believed Nakatani had the tools and timing to flip the landscape if the right opportunity presented itself. That was his honest assessment going into the matchup.
If anyone could upset the apple cart, I think it would be Nakatani. I don't think Inoue and his people should. I'm not saying they shouldn't fight him at the right time, but that's the kind of fight you don't jump, because that could upset the apple cart. He's that good. I'm not saying he beats Inoue. I ain't going against Inoue, but I'm saying that that's a big risk.
Teddy Atlas broke down Nakatani's style before the fight by calling him a tall, rangy fighter who controlled everything through distance and pace. He pointed out that Nakatani forced opponents to work just to get close, and when they did, he greeted them with sharp counters. Atlas also felt that Nakatani's timing and spatial awareness kept him calm under pressure, making it hard for anyone to stay on him for long. According to Atlas, that discipline and composure were what made Nakatani such a difficult puzzle to solve. That was his assessment leading into the matchup.
Nakatani is a guy who makes really most of his living on the outside, bud, where he controls range, he makes you take chances, he counters real, he's a good puncher, he's technically solid. He makes you take chances, he counters you, he doesn't let you get close. You know, he makes you go through a bad neighborhood and then he mugs you. That's what Nakatani does. That's when he's at his best.
Showbiz the Adult pointed out just how rare Naoya Inoue's accomplishments truly are. Becoming a two-division undisputed champion at such a fast pace is something very few fighters have ever done. He also mentioned that despite that success, the anticipation for Inoue's next challenges continued to build. Names like Junto Nakatani and Jesse Rodriguez were already being discussed as the next key figures in his path. That was the conversation surrounding Inoue before the first bell ever rang.
But the thing about Inoue, to give you a little insight, how many weight classes he's gone up already? He's two division undisputed. He's undisputed in two division. How many fighters has done that? And Naoya Inoue, the competition he's fighting right now, Nakatani, we always wanted that fight. Don't move away from that. Also, Naoya Inoue, we don't want him to move away from Bam Rodriguez. Bam Rodriguez is just now, he's going to move up another weight division in his next fight. We're getting closer.
Furthermore, Showbiz also pointed out that Inoue's climb through the weight classes has never come against easy opposition. He has consistently faced top champions and former champions along the way. What makes fights against guys like Nakatani and Rodriguez so appealing to fans, he said, is Inoue's clear vulnerability inside the ring. He reminded everyone that Inoue has been dropped multiple times in his career, yet he always gets back up and finishes the job by knockout. That kind of drama, according to Showbiz, is what makes his career so compelling to watch.
Right? The thing about Naoya Inoue and what he's doing now and jumping up the weight classes and him becoming undisputed and him taking on the right ops who are around him. All right. He's been taking on champions, ex-champions, number one contenders for the past, I don't know how many damn years. But the thing about Inoue that makes him exciting, that makes you feel okay about him fighting Nakatani and then waiting to fight Bam Rodriguez after that, is that you've seen a vulnerability with Inoue. I've seen Inoue dropped like 3 damn times. At that point, okay, he's putting on scraps, he's getting knocked down, he's getting up, knocking people out.
Robert Garcia agreed with Teddy Atlas and warned Inoue not to overlook Nakatani. He called Nakatani a strong puncher who could keep the fight competitive. Garcia also noted Inoue had been dropped before, but not by someone with Nakatani's danger level. Still, he picked Inoue to win in a close fight.
Inoue has a challenge against Nakatani. People might be counting him out. Nakatani is a very dangerous fighter, man. His style is one of those tough, strong fighters that has tremendous power. It's going to be I think Nakatani's going to put up a great fight. He's got great power. Inoue's been dropped a couple times. I don't think the fighters that Inoue has been dropped are as good or have the power that Nakatani has. You know, Nakatani's a solid guy, man, and he's gonna put up a good fight. I still pick Inoue, yes, but it's gonna be a really good fight. I think that's gonna be a great fight. So I can't wait for that one. Also,
Roy Jones Jr. added to the debate by calling Inoue a rare-level talent who was extremely dangerous and still underappreciated in the U.S. He suggested Inoue could already be pound-for-pound #1, but lacks the big crossover fights to prove it. Jones also noted that limited American exposure keeps him underrated. That was his view before the fight.
Right, yeah,
I
like
get
that.
what part time.
Yeah.
Like what you gotta understand. Now, I do understand that, you know, but at the same time, there's another tornado brewing over there in the name of Inoue.
He just won.
That is a bad dude. You hear me? Say what you want. I know he way over there in Japan or whatever he is, but that is a bad dude. You understand me? They don't give him the credit because we don't see him that much. That dude right there, I think that dude really is pound for pound #1. He just don't have the competition at that weight class to have that big fight to get it right now. And the United States don't know him because we don't have big fighters in his weight class over here that we know that good.
We only seen him against Fulton.
You feel me? So
he dominated
that's all, you feel me? The one that we did have, look what he did to him.
Meanwhile, Max Kellerman framed it as a major clash between two elite Japanese stars at the peak of their powers.
Pound-for-pound fighter in all the world, the monster Naoya Inoue takes on #6 Junto Nakatani at the Tokyo Dome in Japan. Now, guys, ordinarily when you have a clash of top 10 pound-for-pounders, there's a lot of buildup. But this one feels as though, at least from where we're sitting in LA, that it's flown a bit under the radar. Now, in the first place, it's two tiny division fighters, right? Once you get below lightweight, especially featherweight, the American public has a tendency anyway to think, well, they're kind of tiny guys and be a little less interested. They're both Japanese fighters, and so the fight's taking place halfway around the world from here, and they haven't been marketed in this country the way they've been marketed in Japan for obvious reasons. And also, Inoue is about a 3-1 favorite, so it's not considered a 50-50 fight.
Algieri contrasted Junto Nakatani as calm and calculated, while he saw Naoya Inoue as more fiery and aggressive. He called it an intriguing matchup with many possible outcomes. Algieri ultimately felt Inoue's national pride would push him into a more aggressive fighting approach. That was his read before the fight.
Nakatani strikes me as almost being more cool and calm and calculated than Inoue. Inoue is fiery in the way that he goes about his business. So very interesting dichotomy of these two. You know, the matchup is juicy. This is a good fight. This is a good fight. And there's a lot of ways it can go, but I think Inoue's national pride is going to get the best of him, and he's going to go for it.
So that could be the end of him. Because we've talked about this numerous times.
It could be a brilliant way to win.
Radio Raheem said fans were right to see Leonard Hearn's comparisons. He noted Inoue was too calculated to trade early and would likely wait things out. Raheem added that while Nakatani usually gets early finishes, extending the fight could favor Inoue's experience.
I remember I was live last night, and a lot of people were comparing this to Leonard Hearns, and I can definitely see the stylistic comparisons. I don't think it'll play out like that. I think Naoya Inoue is a very calculated boxer, and I don't think he would trade with Junto Nakatani early in the fight. I don't see it. Junto, if you look at over his last 5 fights, 4 of those 5 fights haven't gone past the 6th round. He gets knockouts early in fight. It would favor Naoya Inoue to take Junto past the 6th round and use his experience, use his craft, use those explosive legs he got to punch in between the shots and sharpshoot Junto, because Junto has gotten very good at operating from mid-range.
The fight between Naoya Inoue and Junto Nakatani lived up to the anticipation. Inoue proved why he is considered one of the best in the world, while Nakatani showed flashes of the threat many expected him to be. The debate over who was right and who was wrong is now settled inside the ring. But in boxing, the conversation never truly ends. For both men, new challenges are already waiting. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe. We will keep you covered on everything that comes next.